Hey everyone, welcome to the next video in this PreMeducation series. I am coming to you guys a little bit different today. I am not sitting at my desk. I'm standing in my living room. I'm not wearing a sweater or anything even remotely dolled up. I'm in a regular t-shirt here to talk to you guys about work-life balance. And I intentionally didn't put in as much effort to get myself ready today, simply because that's part of this balance thing that we're talking about. You can't be on all the time. You can't come 100% to everything all of the time. And if you attempt to do that your whole life, you will get burnt out very quickly. And that's a lesson I've learned the hard way, especially in my first year of college, which I've talked about in other videos. But today, what I really want to get across to you guys is sort of my little journey to finding work-life balance. And I'll tell you the truth, I still haven't found it yet. I'm still working on it, but I can tell you the things that I've learned along the way and just have a candid conversation with you all about what it means, what I prefer to call it, and how I'm working every day to try and find it. First things first, I prefer not to call it work-life balance. A long time ago, a mentor of mine, someone I really look up to, they learned from another mentor of theirs that it's better to call it work-life management than work-life balance. Balance implies that it's a 50-50 split and that you are perfectly peaceful with this equal amount of time spent on your work and on your social life and hobbies. And that's just not the reality. And I think we can all agree that that's not the case for most people. And I prefer to call it work-life management because in any given week, my percentages change. In an exam week, it's probably 70-30. I don't have a ton of free time. I am stressed. I am neglecting my friends and family. And those are things that I definitely am still working on. But the reality of it is I can't help but devote a lot of my time to my work and my classes when they become more demanding. And then on more lighter weeks, when it's a more even spread of my work tasks, I'm flipping it the other way towards my friends and family, towards my hobbies, towards my mental health, taking time for myself, for my dog, and so on and so forth. So work-life management is where I'd like to start with this video. I prefer to call it that. It makes it a little bit more realistic and a lot more achievable to everyone. Next, I'd like to briefly touch upon the fact that this does not happen overnight. So regardless of where you are in your journey to medicine, there will always be someone a little bit more on top of it than you, and definitely people who are less on top of it than you. And the point is, none of those things matter. It's all about how you are moving in this process and where you want to be. So my freshman year of college, my first semester, I thought I had it figured out. I was coasting, I was focusing on my coursework, but still making time for friends. Nothing was really hitting me crazy hard, and I was lucky to have a smooth transition into college. Where I made my first mistake was thinking, wow, that last semester was really fun. I enjoyed it. I felt like I was on top of my work. So why not double all of my responsibilities? And then it went downhill really fast. And I learned the hard way that that's not for me. And that work-life management that semester was not doing great. But every semester afterward, I knew my limits and I really worked hard to manage my work and life better. So right now, I would say I'm in this weird period where my life is picking up but slowing down at the same time. Academically, I'm rounding a corner where I'm getting out of college, but also medical school is on the horizon. And then in my work/career, I'm picking up a lot of new hobbies, starting making videos like this to create more opportunities for pre-med students like yourselves. So it's like slowing down for school, but picking up in my hobbies and extracurriculars. So I'm really having to work extra hard. It feels a lot like that second semester of college where I have to prioritize and make sure that I'm taking time for family and friends and also for myself. I have a bad habit of overcommitting. For example, 2 days ago, I found out that a bakery in my town was hiring, and despite the lack of availability that I have, I was dead set on applying. It took 3 people to tell me, let's take 2 steps back and think about what you're doing before you just apply. And as much as I would love to work there, I just know I don't have the time. Are my Saturdays open? Yes, but I left them that way so that I can catch up on the week, and I don't want to set myself up for failure by filling those up. A beautiful example of me still learning work-life management as a 21-year-old senior in college, off to medical school very soon. Next up, I want to talk about some tools and tips and tricks that I have used over the years to help me maintain my work-life management level. And a lot of them really are just friends and family who are there to ground you. For example, my two best friends who were really with me throughout all of college and saw me hit rock bottom my second semester are not afraid to remind me, hey, I don't think that's a good idea for you to join that because you will get burnt out. And they just have to be candid with me about it. And honestly, it's the best advice I could take at that given moment because they know exactly where I've been and they know exactly where I don't want to go again. Another thing that I use extensively is my Google Calendar. Here she is. It looks a little busy, crazy, but that's just how I like it. I like to time block my day and then write all of the time blocks on there. So not everything on there is a meeting or a task, but I just like to map my day out that way. And I love it because it sends reminders for me. I can access it from my phone or from anywhere and it automatically updates. So that's something I've been using since my sophomore year of college, actually. And I now figured out how to color code it and it looks pretty. So I like to look at it even when the schedule looks a little bit crazy, and I would highly recommend. I like to go the old-fashioned route for my to-do lists, but in general, I would recommend finding a to-do list app. There are tons of different ones from Asana to Notion, which is getting really big right now. I have yet to venture into it, but I'm thinking about it. There's also ToDoist and a lot of other apps like those that you can use right on your phone, organize them and customize them to your liking, and it really helps you lay out all of your tasks. The one thing that helps me when I'm stressed to the max is writing everything down. I have a whiteboard in my office that I will spend 20 minutes writing all of everything that's in my brain. And once it's all out in front of me, I can relax, empty out the rest of the clutter in my brain, and then start tackling tasks. And these to-do list apps definitely do that for me. For me, I like to physically write out all my lists and without an app or anything like that on paper, but I use my iPad to do it since I'm largely paperless this year and the past couple of years. I use the iPad app called GoodNotes, and there's like a Cornell Notes layout that I write all of my to-do lists on, and that's how I stay on top of it. And I also make sure to block in big things like taking my dog for a walk or calling a friend or watching Hulu at the end of the day. That is right on my schedule every single day like clockwork. A final tool that I want to share with you guys is to read or listen to podcasts or listen to an audiobook. Something to get your mind going and remind you where you are and where you want to be. I recently got into a lot of personal development books, and by a lot, I mean I liked the sound of them and I just bought a couple of them to start to read. I'm reading Psycho-Cybernetics right now. I can put it right here. It's a really great book, but I try to read at least 25 minutes every morning. It's just an opportunity for me to sit down, dedicate all of my focus to one thing that is not only entertaining and interesting, but it's helping me as a person and my overall well-being. The book in particular that I'm reading talks a lot about your creative mechanism and how to be successful in anything that you want to do just by taking 2 steps back and focusing internally on the conversations you need to have with yourself. Granted, personal development books are not everybody's cup of tea, but I think reading anything or listening to anything that can get you pumped in the morning or any time throughout the day when you're feeling low can really help you push through, whether you are stuck on an assignment and you won't let yourself put it down until it's done, or if you're in a rut and just don't have any sort of motivation. Those types of podcasts and books and episodes can really help. Before this book that I was reading, I was listening to Eric Thomas every morning. I found a random podcast that just compiled a bunch of motivational speeches. So I was listening to those every morning while I was in the shower so that by the time I was done getting clean, I was ready to tackle my day. That wraps it up for this video. It was pretty straightforward to the point, but I really just wanted to let you all know that it's not pretty and lovely and put together and neat and tidy all the time. By no means does anybody in this situation, in this journey to medicine, put together 100% of the time. It's just not the reality of it. And nobody has their perfect balance set up all the time either. Depending on the week, the day, even the hour, everybody's situation is constantly changing and they have to prioritize what needs to get done at that time. I've given you guys a couple of the tools that I use to help balance those things, but to each their own. I encourage you to explore those and any other ones that you find. Feel free to drop in the comments below any tips and tricks that you guys have to maintain your work-life management, and I will catch you in the next video. Have a great day.